A landmark agreement to shift away from fossil fuels thrusts U.S. policy into the global spotlight, with campaigners demanding that President Joe Biden's administration should lead the charge toward cleaner energy technologies. For the first time in nearly 3 decades, government ministers from nearly 200 countries on Wednesday approved a deal that calls on countries to move away from using fossil fuels, the chief driver of the climate crisis. The agreement, known as the Global Stocktake, was hailed as historic by COP28 President Sultan Al Jaber during his closing speech. The European Union welcomed what it described as the beginning of the end of the fossil fuel era. But civil society groups and scientists were left disappointed by the absence of an explicit call to phase out or phase down fossil fuels, while a bloc of small island nations criticized what they characterized as a litany of loopholes. A phase-out commitment would likely have required a shift away from fossil fuels until their use is eliminated, while a phase-down agreement would have indicated a reduction in their use, but not an absolute end. U.S. climate envoy John Kerry said Wednesday that the COP28 agreement sends very strong messages to the world. Today, I would join with the Chinese delegation in announcing that the United States and China, based on the many initiatives set out in the global stocktake decisions, we will again update our long-term strategies, and we invite other parties to join us in doing so, Kerry added, without disclosing the details of these strategy adjustments. His comments come at a time when the U.S. position as the world's leading oil and gas juggernaut has strengthened in recent months, and the nation is tracked to extract more oil and gas than ever before in 2023. The U.S. Energy Information Administration said recently that American oil output hit a fresh all-time high of 13.2 million barrels per day in September, more than heavyweight producers such as OPEC kingpin Saudi Arabia and non-OPEC leader Russia. Jean Su, acting co-executive director at the Center for Biological Diversity, a nonprofit, said Wednesday that the COP28 deal must now be taken up at the national level, and singled out the need for the U.S. to lead the charge. The fight to end oil, gas and coal must now be taken up at the country level, with the United States leading the way by halting new fossil fuel project approvals and setting a strong nationally determined contribution for next year's COP29, Su said. Nikki Reisch, director of the Climate and Energy Program at the Center for International Environmental Law, echoed this view. So long as the biggest polluters, the United States chief among them, continue recklessly expanding oil and gas and staunchly refusing to provide climate finance on anything approaching the scale needed, the world will remain on a death course, Reisch said.